Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about materials and the kinds of things that you might like to have to hand depending on what you're using. So I've just put an array of stuff around me which I'll just quickly talk through. So where will we begin? This is Faux Board. It's light as a feather and love to work on it. It's great for collage and painting. However, I don't know if you can see that, it's got a curve, and so when it gets wet, which it will get wet because we're painting, it tends to, just put that down now I've spoken about it, it tends to curve and it will frame fine, it will frame flat. However, if you leave it out of a frame, it is curved and it doesn't look that great. The foam boards do come in quite big sizes. This one here is about £7 from Hobbycraft. It's pretty sturdy stuff for all it's light as a feather. It is hard to break and hard to cut through, so just be aware of that. I'm smiling because I had a fight night with a foam board once and it didn't go well, not for me. Okay, so this is a canvas. These, you can get them in the range, the works, just all art supply shops. They're so readily available. Often you get 4 in a pack for a tenner in the works, which is great when they've got those offers on. And they tend to be around about £3.99 or £4 for one of their these sort of size canvases. This here, this is my favourite way of working, which is on hardboard, and you can get that at B&Q, Homebase, any of those sort of hardware stores. Come in really, really big sizes. This one's about 4 foot by 26 inches. But yeah, I love working on this, and there's a smooth side and there's a rough side. And I prefer the smooth. I don't think there'd be any problem working on the rough side. However, I do think that you would probably use a lot more products, a lot more materials on the rough side. More paint, more gels. What else? You might like to, and I do love doing this, this is wallpaper lining, and you could get a roll of this, which just goes on and on and on. Use some masking tape and attach it to a board to work on. The only thing to bear in mind is make sure the whole area that you're working on does get wet, because the wet areas and the dry together don't go well together, and it creates a sort of tension. If you're using the wallpaper lining, you might fancy working with Sharpies, or those lovely Crayola wax crayons. You might want to use watercolour or diluted down acrylic, or acrylic as it comes. It's really pretty sturdy stuff. I always have a trusty water sprayer to hand, a container to put your water in for cleaning brushes, and any brushes that just feel right. I'd encourage you to choose from your gut rather than a thinking, planning place. For me, that always goes much better. Paints, any paints, I tend to work with acrylic mostly. There's Graduate Paints, Galleria, these are from Hobbycraft. I've got golden paints, I've got an array of paints, and I just love them all. What else can I tell you? If you're working on board like this, or not so much canvas, you might want to be collaging onto your background, and just have stuff to hand, like wrapping paper that somebody's given a present in, just save it. Lovely tissue with pretty butterflies and feathers, music paper. You can use ordinary PVA school glue for gluing, white gesso, which I love, And also, I've lost it, my Liquitex, excuse me, while I search. My Liquitex gel, this is my favourite, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I always cover over the top as well as underneath when I'm collaging. And it just gives a lovely gloss, and you can add more and more on top, it kind of seals it. You might want to use some polyfiller and create some texture on your background or on your tree or whatever it is you're creating. Love things like this. Have an old credit card to hand for scraping and perhaps other tools like a knife, and a plastic knife, or one of these kind of brush things. Just gather things. If you see something that looks interesting, this comes from a hair dye, a root dye box, and I collect these. They're great, very handy tools. Sponges, just have various size sponges to hand. The other thing I love using is the foam paddles. They're great, they last a long time, and you can make all sorts of marks with these. What else do I need to tell you? Maybe that's it really. I don't want to overwhelm you with loads and loads of information about materials. You know, just pull some wallpaper lining off, grab a paintbrush and some paint and just have a go. You don't need to spend lots and lots of money. This is a canvas board. I didn't tell you about this actually. This is okay for collaging on as well as painting on. It's a nice hard base. It also does tend to buckle slightly when it gets wet. However, framing it will straighten it back up. So that's just a little bit of information about materials. I'm just looking around to check I haven't forgotten to tell you something that might be handy. Easel. Think about your body, your back, your neck. When you're working, take breaks, look after yourself. I've got an array of different easels available which I swap around. You might want to work on a table flat, and that is fine. But if you are crouching over a lot, I would stretch out. Just yawn and stretch and sigh. Have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea, and just take care of yourself. You might also like to put a CD on and play your favourite music. So I think that's probably just about it. Okay, so have fun, and let's move on to the next stage.